Hi guys, welcome to this week's crypto project review. My name is Daniel and this is my channel. Join me in discussing and analyzing the fundamentals of crypto projects. I do have a disclaimer to make. I am not a financial advisor and the information presented in this video isn't meant to make you buy or sell any of the coins. As always, proceed with caution when investing in risk assets. Today we will talk about Solana killers, Aptos versus Sui. We will talk about the projects, about what they want to achieve, how they want to achieve it, about their tokenomics, their teams, and most importantly about their tech. Stick with me until the end to find out who will win. Meta, Aptos and Sui. As some of you might remember, in 2019, Meta, formerly known as Facebook, was working on a private blockchain named Libra and later Diem. The governmental regulatory pressure made Facebook give up on the project, but the team working at Diem saw potential and went on to create their blockchain where they would be free of governmental pressure. Does it need to be solved? Basically yes. For Web3 to replace Web2, there is a need for a user-friendly interface for both developers and users. The question we should ask is, why will these two make it? There is a plethora of layer 1 blockchains, each competing for a place at the table next to Ethereum, which, make no mistake, could be better, but it has the advantage of being the first layer 1 in the space, so it has credibility, apps built on it, and people that use it. What is Aptos? Aptos is a layer 1 smart contracts blockchain built for scalability using Move as a programming language. Move is an open-chain programming language derived from Rust and developed at Facebook for Diem. Aptos Genesis took place on 24th of February 2022. Aptos whitepaper. Aptos wants to solve the blockchain trilemma: decentralization, security, and scalability. Aptos and decentralization. According to the white paper, the Aptos blockchain will be owned, operated, and governed by a broad and diverse community. There hasn't been established yet which community, how will they choose the community, and will it be a DAO? Security on Aptos. Aptos wants to provide Web3 users with extra layers of security using 3 different security methods: the sender's sequence number, a transaction expiration time, and a designated chain identifier. Aptos accounts support key rotation to reduce the risk of compromised private keys. Another precautionary measure that Aptos takes to protect its users is transaction pre-execution. This measure explains to users the details of the transactions they are about to sign. Aptos will enable wallets to dictate constraints of transactions while being executed. Disrespecting these constraints will lead to an abortion of the transaction. Aptos and scalability. The efficiency of Aptos is possible through batch transactions, which may occur a few milliseconds of latency but greatly reduce the gas price for transactions. Aptos blockchain decouples non-agreement transactions task from consensus so that ordering can occur with very low bandwidth, resulting in high transaction throughput and minimizing latency. Transactions on the Aptos blockchain will have a gas fee paid in the native token. The fee will allow validators to prioritize the highest value transactions. It is specified that there are multiple opportunities to discard low value transactions, thus allowing the blockchain to operate efficiently when at system capacity. The blockchain would solve the scalability issue and be cheap to use. Over time, network fees will ensure a cost covering the hardware deployment, maintenance, and node operation. But will lower value transactions be refused in case of congestion? Will fees increase in time to cover real-life expenses? These are all questions that we should look answers for. Aptos roadmap. Regarding the roadmap, Aptos has achieved what it proposed so far and is now in mainnet. Somewhere in Q4 2022 or Q1 2023, they want to, and I quote, deploy the next major release to Aptos mainnet with the next set of significant features. Although nobody knows what those significant features might be. Their roadmap has some clear milestones, but nothing extraordinary. Of course, it is important to reach the mainnet, but the roadmap isn't giving us a clear direction of where the project is headed. Aptos team. Aptos Labs website cites numerous people working on their blockchain, but the two most used names are Mosaic and Avery Ching. Mosaic has institutional connections as he worked in 2011 for BlackRock, the multi-billion asset management company, and for Meta. It seems he even consulted the World Economic Forum on blockchain and CBDC's development. Avery Ching worked for Yahoo and later for Meta. Given the history of Aptos' inception and of its co-founder Shaikh, one must wonder how decentralized the blockchain will be. Aptos holders. There are 2,600 holders at the moment. The top whale is none other than the Aptos Foundation, with almost 5.6% of the total supply, and the top 3 wallets own 10% of the supply. The network has 102 validators, with the top 20 having around 45% of the supply and receiving approximately 4,000 Aptos every 24 hours, which at least for now, they seem to be reinvested. There is still the problem of inflation, and we don't know when the validators will decide to sell their tokens. Aptos backers. Aptos raised $200 million in March 2022 in a strategic round led by A16Z, Andreessen and Horowitz, Crypto. Some companies that participated were Coinbase Ventures and the infamous FTX Ventures. Another thing that Aptos has in common with Solana. In July, Aptos raised another $150 million, and this investment round was led by, again, FTX Ventures. There is unclear how much Aptos tokens FTX Ventures has and when it will reach the market. Aptos names. You can now register an Aptos domain in exchange for 5 Aptos tokens for 1 year at www.aptosnames.com. Aptos tokenomics. As seen on the Aptos Explorer, the current supply of Aptos is 1 billion tokens. Token repartition is as follows: 51% for the community, with the other 49% for the foundation, investors, and core contributors. Some might argue that the percent distributed to investors and core contributors might be too much and that it defies the purpose of decentralization. Make of it as you wish. Here you can see the distribution and vesting schedule for each category. Even though the tokens distributed to the investors are initially locked, they can be staked and the rewards can be sold. It's unclear where the staking rewards are coming from, since initially all fees are burned. Maybe they come from the community allocated tokens. With 84% of the supply being actively staked and the API for staking being currently at 7%. Staking implies a minimum and also maximum quota. Accumulating more tokens than the full quota won't increase the voting power or rewards. As usual, the tokens are locked for a fixed period set by Aptos governance, which automatically renews. You can unstake your tokens anytime, but they will be available after the specified period. In October 2022, Aptos Foundation airdropped 23 million tokens to 124 early network participants. At the moment, there are no active giveaways or airdrops, so be careful of scammers. Aptos ecosystem. Petra Wallet. Petra Wallet is available as a Google Chrome extension which you can download from Chrome Web Store or GitHub. If you want to experiment on the Aptos blockchain, you can use the faucet function and get some tokens to explore. In November this year, Aptos Labs and MoonPay partnered to bring fiat on-ramp directly into the wallet. You can now buy Apt tokens with credit or debit cards, Google Pay or Apple Pay. Pontum Network. Pontum is a product development network working closely with Aptos Labs to increase the Aptos ecosystem. Some of the products they released are Pontum Wallet and LiquidSwap, which is the first DEX on Aptos blockchain. Topaz NFT Marketplace. Topaz.so is an NFT marketplace built on Aptos, where you can find the monkeys and dragons of the Aptos blockchain. Even though Aptos is pretty new, it has attracted over 130 projects from wallets, DEXs, NFT marketplaces, yield aggregators, lending protocols, and so on. You can find the complete list of projects building on Aptos under GitHub. Link in the description. Aptos Tech. There are currently 102 validators on the Aptos blockchain located in 22 countries and 39 cities, most of them in Europe. The one thing that caught my eye instantly is that even though Aptos blockchain wants to solve the scalability problem for mass adoption, it can only process 7 transactions per second, and the most it processed in the past 30 days was 563 transactions. This caught my attention because in an article on their Medium page, Aptos said they execute 160,000 transactions per second. Aptos demand versus Aptos price. On Messari.io, we can see that the demand for Aptos tokens decreases while the price increases. This is a bearish divergence which might suggest that the price could have a correction soon. Aptos and Google. The similarities with Solana don't end with the backers. Google Cloud announced they would run a node on the Aptos blockchain. If you watched the Solana video, you might remember that Google Cloud runs a node on Solana too. Through collaboration with the Google Cloud, anyone can power a node on the Aptos network in less than 15 minutes. The love between Google and Aptos Foundation is more significant than just running a node. The two companies announced an accelerator program for Web3 builders on the Aptos blockchain. Also, part of the partnership consists of Aptos indexing the blockchain in BigQuery and a hackathon co-hosted by the two companies. What is Sui? Sui is a decentralized, permissionless smart contract platform biased towards low latency management of assets, and it uses Sui Move as a programming language. Sui intends to deliver scalability with transactions processable in parallel. Sui means water in Japanese, and as the name suggests, it wants to offer flexibility to builders and their users. Sui's whitepaper. The most innovative thing on Sui is that it supports two-way bridges between Sui and other blockchains that support like clients, without relying on oracles or other hardware. Thus, it is possible to import other assets and wrap them on Sui, or vice versa. Sui's tokenomics. Sui is capped at 10 billion tokens, with part of it being liquid on mainnet launch and the rest awaiting distribution according to a vesting schedule and a staking rewards. Sui will be used for gas fees, staking to secure the network, as a medium of exchange and in governance. Sui's economic design brings something new through its storage fund that redistributes past transaction fees to future validators as a reward for when on-chain storage requirements are high. Storage gas prices are set through governance proposals each epoch. More Sui tokens are taken out of circulation when the storage requirements are high. This creates a deflationary mechanism while incentivizing users to compute more storage power to the network. In conclusion, Sui has no direct burning mechanism. I will leave the tokenomics paper link in the description for those interested in discovering more. Sui's roadmap. Sui is still in testnet, so the roadmap gets constantly actualized. If you want to keep an eye on future updates, access their GitHub. I will also leave a link to the roadmap page in the description. Sui's tech. The network is still in testnet with 5,000 nodes in 42 countries. For those interested in how to run a full node on the devnet, you can check the Medium article that I'll leave in the description. Sui's team. The team behind Sui is the same team behind the Move programming language, Miston Labs. They are all public faces with 5 co-founders. Most of them used to work at Meta, and Evan Cheng worked at Apple for 10 years. Sui's backers. Sui's backers are FTX, ironically I know, Binance Labs, Coinbase Ventures, Circle, and many others. While backers are essential for any project, please keep in mind that a year ago companies like Three Arrows Capital, FTX Ventures, and Alameda Research investing in a project gave confidence to most people. The bear market showed us that in crypto, nobody is too big to fail so far. Sui's ecosystem. Sui Wallet. Sui Wallet is an open-source Web3 wallet meant for ecosystem enablement and education and not meant to be the de facto wallet. Hint: there is no airdrop announced so far, but seeing how Aptos had one for those that interacted with the network in testnet, you might do the same with Sui Wallet and see what happens. Gaming on Sui. Sui intends to bring Web3 to the masses, and that includes gaming. For now, there's only a demo for a game called Monster where you can grow and feed your pets. Trial of time. Both networks are in their early phases, with Aptos slightly ahead of Sui. There is a lot of institutional support and enthusiastic communities behind the two projects. Competition. The Layer 1 space has intense competition with some projects that already got a head start. Hence, Aptos and Sui have a lot to prove to play in the big league. But if history teaches us something, is that sometimes the late projects are the ones left standing. The advantages of the two projects is that they are built on newer and more innovative technology, but they still have a lot to prove from here on. Regulatory pressures. The crypto space will be regulated soon and is under intense scrutiny after the FTX collapse. We already know from Gary Gensler that only Bitcoin is considered a commodity, with projects with a proof-of-stake consensus mechanism regarded as securities. Being securities isn't the end of the world. The stock market is composed of securities. The difference is that they have much more regulatory standards to achieve, which means that only serious projects with backing and capital will survive. Conclusions. Ethereum killers, Solana killers, and so on and so forth. The truth is that the future will most likely be multi-chain, and that the pie will be big enough to share between the projects that will survive regulations. Now let's compare the three blockchains in terms of tech. As you can see, Solana and Sui are still in testnet, while Aptos already reached its mainnet. In terms of maximum transactions per second, in theory, Solana can reach 710,000 transactions per second, Aptos can reach 160,000 transactions per second, and Sui can reach 120,000 transactions per second. In terms of real maximum transactions per second, we can exclude Sui because it's still in testnet. Solana leads with 4,700 transactions per second, and Aptos with a disappointing 563 transactions per second. In terms of tokenomics, Solana and Aptos have no max cap, while Sui is capped at 10 billion tokens. In terms of current supply, Solana has 536 million tokens, while Aptos has 1 billion. Sui hasn't yet released its token, but we can expect somewhere around a billion tokens as well. Solana leads when we take into consideration the number of validators. Even though Sui has more validators, keep in mind that it's still in its testnet. Even though all three projects were impacted by the FTX collapse, it seems that Solana still has life in it. As always, do your own research and proceed with caution when investing in risk assets. That was all for today, guys. Thank you for watching and don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next week.